Welcome to the Straight Red Card, and we're going to give you the preview for the upcoming Honduras versus the United States game. The reason I mentioned Honduras first is they're the home team, and of course, this is a critical game because we are. Well, anyhow, before I get to any more, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with grandma, share it with your great auntie, put it in your pants, do a dance, all that shit. All right, because we want to keep growing and you're helping us grow. And we appreciate that. Thanks for watching.
Once again, Derek, I was this close to interrupting you saying, but before we get to the players against Honduras, let's make sure you like and subscribe, etc., etc., etc. But you beat me to it.
At this point of the night, Brett, as you've been drinking for hours and hours since you had your little cook-off there.
Since 2.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised you're lucid at all, frankly.
I'm a professional. You know, it's not a problem if you're good at it.
All right, professional.
Dude, so while we're on that subject,
how many times have you showed up for work this drunk? Quite
at least 6.
I'm not condemning you at all. The whole point of this show is to actually we get toasted and we do our show. So
I have a little anecdotal reference towards drinking a lot.
What's that?
So back in college, back in the day at IU, I was working and I got off work and it was the Friday of Little Five. And I went back to my apartment. I was living at the villas. And I made a SoCo punch beverage. It was a nice little beverage full of liqueur. And I stepped out into the porch. And as I stepped out on the porch, excise rolled up. Got busted. Didn't even have a drink. I was so pissed. Ended up having to pay a $300 fine, pick up trash, and go talk to a school psychologist. And the psychologist mentioned how there are 2 different types of alcoholics out there. Yeah. There's the one that requires alcohol in order to survive, just day-to-day activities. And then there's the alcoholic that doesn't drink all the time. But when they do drink, they drink a lot. And they really, just talking about, I'm like, dude, you guys literally just described like 95% of the school population here.
Yeah, and they missed a whole category. And that's people who drink just at night. Alone. But then get up for work every day. All right. Anyhow,
who the fuck does that?
They do it all the time in Europe. But you know what? They have a whole different idea about alcoholism in Europe than they do here. And I'm not going to get into that because there's been a lot of that in my family, which is probably why I drink so much. Anyhow, I inherited it. What a horrible fucking depressing topic to bring up. All righty. Oh, by the way, before we get into this, one other thing. I've been watching a lot of the US Open. I don't know if you like tennis, but I've been watching it.
You used to play, right?
Oh, yeah. My brother's a former professional tennis player. So the most annoying thing about the US Open's been great, but the what is it? What's the perfume? Dior,
sure,
with Natalie Portman commercials, and which were made like 3 years ago, and they're bringing them back. And the ones where she says, "What would you do for love?" Have you seen those?
No, but I also don't have basic cable, so
all I gotta say about those commercials is she freaks me out. Like, I wouldn't date that chick. That commercial is so fucking intense, and like she's crying in it, she's laughing madly in it. She's laying in a fucking field of grass, rolling around. She's laying on the top of a fucking whale in one point. This girl is out of her fucking mind. I mean, is this what you're selling? This is what you're selling. This chick who's like yelling and throwing shit at her boyfriend during the perfume commercial. You're like, that brings back bad memories. I don't want people to throw shit at me. This is a fucking creepy ass commercial. Frankly.
If we're going to talk about commercials, I love the Sam Adams commercials that are out and about.
Which
one? I see them on YouTube a lot. It's your cousin from Boston.
Yeah, I know, because we all know some schmuck from that part of the world. We do.
I laugh so hard every time I hear that. It's like, from Boston.
And that's kind of how they are. I mean, listen, Dave Portnoy's from New Jersey, right? And he's got that sort of schmucky thing going on, but he's no dummy. But he does have that sort of, kind of arrogant schmuckiness to him. Hey, Dave, if you're listening, or if people who work at Barstool Sports are listening, we are waiting for your call to sponsor and grow our show. Sponsor and grow our show.
We will happily sell out all of our fans. No, we won't.
No, but we've had a number of our fans or subscribers say Barstool Sports has no soccer show. They need to get you guys. I'm like, well, fuck. Email him, text him, message him, DM him. I don't know him. I don't know. I know who he is, but I don't know him from a hole in the wall. So good luck. If you can help us, help us. Anyhow, so let's get to the big thing coming up. And Brett, frankly, it's the same night as the Canada game. Yes, folks, we are still up, and this is our third segment, and we recorded some long fucking shows here. We are morons. And we are very wasted. And here we got a game that's really turned into a must-game win, because going out of here, it is a must-win game. I guess I took one too many hits. Listen, that's what this is. We got to win this game, because otherwise, if we lose it, we're coming out of 3 games with 2 points. If we tie it, we're coming out with 3 points. We need 5. 5's like we already said at the beginning of all this. You, I, Filippo, we all said 7 points. That's like the bar. 7 points is the bar. 9's great. 7's like the line you can't cross. We've already crossed it. And I told you so. I told you that, Brett, last show. Or the show, last show, not the last segments.
I think we're going to come out of this Honduras game with 9 points.
All right. No more of their silly math jokes.
Come on.
I get it. We can't mathematically do that. But a 5, man, we're going to squeak out a 5 here? Are you kidding? Yep. That's what we're going to have to do.
Oh, I mean, I guess in the end, our only concern is being in that top 3 position. We need a result here, and preferably we need a win. Desperately need a win. And we're early in qualifiers, so I mean, obviously there's still room to continue to grow, but we need to start just like Mexico's doing. We need to start separating ourselves from the herd.
Yeah, Mexico's winning the games they're supposed to win, and even scrappy pulling out games that were tied late, and we're not doing that. And we're not kicking the ass of teams we should be kicking the ass of. I'm sorry, El Salvador's 3 points every day of the week. I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear about CONCACAF. I don't want to hear about how hard it is. I know it's hard. I've been following this team for 30 fucking years. I know it's hard, but our talent level should trump that. And yes, maybe we're inexperienced. That's part of the problem too. But that is the job of the more experienced players on the team, and to help these players be prepared. And it's Gregg's job too. And so now we're coming up to almost what Gregg called the Canada game a must-win game. This is a must-win game. It's a must-win. Must.
Derek,
and they're better. They're better than El Salvador.
You need to step back, check your arrogance at the door. Not 9 times. I'm gonna be the realistic one here, guys. 9 times out of 10, we beat El Salvador.
We do, but
that one time was a draw. But 9 times out of 10, win.
We do, but not at El Salvador. Historically, we've struggled there. I get it, but that's with other teams. This is a talented team.
Who? Yeah. Quite frankly, and I stand firm, and we talked about this in a previous segment, but even with our poor performance against El Salvador and our more improved performance, but still lackluster against Canada, we still could have been at a position now with 6 points. We had opportunities. We didn't put them away. We need to put them away. And we're going into Honduras, a place that we've never had really great success from. But, again, we need to approach these away matches as if they're home matches, and we need to take it to the home team. Quite frankly, we need to get out of this mentality that, we just need to scrap away a draw at these away matches. A draw works. A draw away is generally the success for qualifying, but we need to get points away because there are going to be times similar to tonight where we end up dropping points at home, and that's not going to work for us. We need to continue to succeed elsewhere outside of just home.
And if any of you jokers out there think that Mexico or some other of these teams in this group aren't going to go to El Salvador and get 3, then you're smoking some dope. It's going to happen. Mexico's getting 3 in El Salvador. That's what they're getting. And if they don't, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I'll stick my balls in my ass. I don't care. Whatever you want me to do.
We're back to that already, huh?
I'm just saying somebody's going to get 3 points in El Salvador, and it's not us because we already blew that chance. And now we blew a chance at home. So this whole idea that you can just tie away games and win all your home games. Well, guess what? You're not going to win all your home games. We just proved it. Mm-hmm. So let's not go so easy. Let's not feel so comfortable. I had felt uncomfortable when the first game started. I felt uncomfortable through most of this last game versus Canada. And, I am going to be shitting my drawers during the game versus Honduras because I know how serious the situation is getting. Every game we advance deeper into our qualifying lineup and it's calendar.
Yeah, let's be clear. This is going to be a tough match. It's always going to be a tough match. But again, I stand firm in the sense that we could have left this entire camp. We could have left it with 9 points. We've dropped 4 points over the course of 2 games. We need a win here. We absolutely need a win here.
So the question becomes, we've talked about it a lot now in the last 2 segments. Gregg is not going to change formations outside of the 2 formations he uses, which is essentially a 4-3-3 or a 3-4-3. So I know we said, these other formations might work, but and I know that's not going to happen. The question is, which of the 2 formations that Gregg likes to use are we going to use?
Oh, you're asking me, huh? I'm going to have to channel my inner Gregg here.
I'm asking you, Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg, come in.
So if I have to channel my inner Gregg,
yeah, you have.
I've seen that the 4-3-3s have just not been panning out right now. Maybe we need to try something different. I'm going with my 3-4-3, and I'm a variation of it, which I have my 2 winger options pinching in to help out in that midfield because we're obviously losing 1 player there in the end. So I'm still with the 3-4-3.
And if you do that, you're going back to your McKenzie. God damn it.
Yep.
Yeah, Robinson, McKenzie. Can't players have different names? All right, so you're going with McKenzie, Brooks, and Robinson as your back 3.
Absolutely. Now the big question is though, who do you play in the center?
I mean, you got to go with Brooks. I think he's got to be.
I understand that idea. I almost feel like you want to kind of go with Robinson in the sense that Robinson is fast and can cover both the slower McKenzie and Brooks.
You could do that, but you could also do Ream on the left, Brooks in the middle, and Robinson on the right.
It's always an option.
I'm just saying that's an option.
Ream was perfectly fine in the El Salvador game. You could absolutely see him again. Although I would be kind of surprised if we don't see any of McKenzie at all this entire game.
I'm not going to be surprised because Berhalter in his little press conference was saying, hey, I've watched every game that Ream has played so far in the championship this year. He is on the top. He's in top form. So I wouldn't surprise me at all if we did play that back 3 and we saw Ream on the left,
sure,
Brooks in the middle, and Robinson on the right.
It wouldn't surprise me either. I agree with you on that.
McKenzie is struggling at Genk to get any time. He's got this guy, Lassimi, ahead of him. He's not getting any playing time. So I don't know. I'm thinking if we see 3 in the back, it's not going to be McKenzie. I think he's going to go with his true and tried, and that would be Ream at the left center back spot. But who do you got on the wings on your back 5?
We're really limited on options here, but I'm going to go with Yedlin and Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Des might be seriously injured. It was an ankle. It wasn't just like a toe or like a muscle strain or anything. That it sounded kind of mildly serious. So you have Robinson on the left and Yedlin on the right. I think that makes perfect sense. So I'm going to go back to the 4-3-3 and do that because I think we might stick to it. So I'm going to do much like you. Brooks is in there with Miles Robinson. I'm going to have Yedlin on the right and Robinson on the left. That would be Anthony on the left. So midfield, you're playing 4 and out wide.
Well, technically speaking, I have Yedlin and Robinson of that 4 out wide.
That's true. So we've already done it.
So I've got Adams and McKinney.
You can't have McKinney because we don't know how long he's being suspended for having a party in his room.
Until we get notification of it, I'm talking this because there has not been a single word as far as saying I will be supporting this team from my apartment in Turin. Nothing's come out. So my take on this is that it's a 1-game suspension, barring a negative COVID test. So if that test comes out negative, then yes, I'm absolutely throwing him back in there. So I'm going to keep him in there until I hear anything otherwise. But if I didn't have McKinney, I guess I would go with Acosta.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
And like you, if I have to pick my 3 midfielders, I'm going with Adams, McKinney, and Acosta. Reyna's out. Obviously, he's out of the picture.
Yep, he's heading back to
Dortmund. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just done. He's out, folks. So don't come yelling at us about, Reyna should play the midfield. Well, first of all, Greg doesn't play at 10, so that's not going to happen. And he'd already said in an interview that he didn't think Reyna was a very good 10 or 8. So he didn't think he would bring enough activity on the high press. There you go. End of discussion, at least for now. He didn't say end of discussion. He said, but we're open to the idea of him eventually playing an 8. But yeah, in our system, that doesn't really, what he does doesn't work. And we'd rather have him closer to the goal.
His system's not really working out either, but let's continue going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, yes, Adams, McKinney, and Acosta for my 4-3-3 in the midfield. But I'd rather.
But if McKinney's not there, who do you got?
McKinney's not there. I'm going Adams. Well, shit. Adams, it gets difficult. Leggett and Acosta. Again, I do the same thing. I'm not putting Roldan in there.
No.
Who's the other option? Really?
Nobody at that point. You can throw Aronson in there if you want to.
Yeah, but I like Aronson out wide.
Sure, I agree on that.
And we already lost Reyna, so Aronson's going to be replacing Reyna. So, all right. So your top 3 is going to be the same as mine. I'm
probably
guessing.
not.
Maybe not. Well, Pulisic on the left.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Who you got in the middle?
Sargent.
Okay.
Who'd you pick?
I picked PFOC. And I played.
I could see either one getting the start. In all honesty, but yeah,
it'll probably be Sargent. That'd be my guess.
Yeah,
I think you're right as far as finding your inner Greg. I think he's going to give Sargent another go after the last 8 minutes that he put out last game. I thought he did well, but I also thought PFOC did okay for what he was given. So yeah,
again, that number 9 position's fucked under Berhalter. It's just it doesn't. We have players who can play the position, but it's just not working in their benefit at all.
Yeah, in his system so far, yeah, it's not working. They've got no partners to work with, in the way it works right now, and he's got to see that. That's got to be. He has to look at the video and go, yeah, whenever my center forward gets the ball, he's all by himself. There's no one around him to pass it to. I mean, he's got to see that. He's got to see that. Outright, I've got Aronson.
So I went with Conrad just because Aronson has started and played most of both games so far. Now, mind you, he got subbed off in both games too, so you could say he's not overly stretched out in this third game, but he's played both games, and this will be the third game in 6 days.
Well, if you're going to do that, Brett, I'd put Sargent out on the right and put Pepe in the middle, or put PFOC in the middle. I don't know.
I wouldn't mind that. It'd make Berliner happy.
It would. And I just think Aronson's a fucking Energizer bunny.
Sure.
That dude, and I've said that before, this guy has endless fucking energy. Endless. He looked tired at the end of this game, and he might in like 60 minutes in Honduras on Wednesday. But I think you keep him in. I think you keep Aronson out wide.
And you know what? You can start him and let him run his ass off for 60, 65 minutes and then give your subs a chance to perform. Get them in there, get fresh legs for the last third of the match. And you can sub them out. That's perfectly fine. I can see that happening. Aronson's been instrumental to some of our success in the attack. So,
yeah. Well, yeah. I would be great. Like I said, I wouldn't mind, like I said, seeing Sargent and PFOC, like Sargent outright, PFOC in the middle, or even Sargent Pepe in the middle. There are all kinds of things we could see. We are not grinding the meat in along with Berhalter in his meetings. I wish I could be a fly on the wall. So we're just doing our best here to predict what we can. But frankly, we haven't been very far off. I mean, last show I called the 4-3-3, and our lineups weren't, even if you took your same players and made them into a 4-3-3, it wouldn't be far off from what Berhalter did. So
quite frankly, looking at my lineup, outside of the couple of changes I decided to make because of reasons. But I mean, you're looking at taking out McKenzie and throwing in a Leggett or whatever, you know. So it's not a huge difference in the end. You get 80%, 90% of the players correct, regardless of the fact.
Yeah, exactly. So let's make a prediction on the game. I'm going 1-0 US.
I'm going with my same prediction against Canada, 8-0.
Yeah, no. Right. Look how well
funny.
That worked out.
It was funny because we got our first goal against Canada, and my friend Chad goes, "Only 7 more to go, right, Brett?" And I go, "Yep." Now, I also think it's going to be 1-0 simply because we don't create chances right now, and maybe over the course of the next couple of days, Berhalter is going to be like getting into them like, "Hey guys, we need to do this differently. You need to keep it simple, make 1-2 touches and then a pass, 1-2 touches and then a pass, and get into that box and crash." And maybe we score a couple, maybe we grind out another draw. I don't fucking know. At this point, it's a toss up, and we'll see what happens come Wednesday.
Okay. So tell me if this idea is not something you would feel better about. If Bob Bradley was the manager right now, would you be very confident that he would come out with a solution next game?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like you'd change some things up. Yeah.
I would. I personally feel like Bob Bradley was not a stubborn manager. He looked at the pieces he had and he said, okay, let me put these pieces in whatever order works. And versus the opponent.
Well, very much like his son, he's a student of the game. And see, crying about that. He's a student of the game in the sense that he would have recognized something was going to have to change and make a change. And that could be as simple as a formation change and one player difference, but something would have to change, and something has to change. We can't just keep going back out and trying the same thing over and over again. That's the definition of insanity.
It is. You can't keep hammering your head in the wall when there's other ways to get through the wall or get around the wall. The only reason I sighed during the Michael Bradley thing is like comparing Michael Bradley's prowess to to tactical prowess to Bob's just bothered me. I'm like, nah, I mean, I'm sure that Michael Bradley's a really smart guy, but he ain't Bob Bradley. Bob Bradley is a fucking video rat. Like that's all he does. He lives, breathes, eats, shits soccer. That's what he does. And I think Michael's okay. And I don't know about him as a manager, but I know what Bob Bradley would bring as a manager.
Yeah, I was focusing more along the lines of his line as a player, because we haven't seen him as a manager because he's still a fucking player. You can't really argue that Mike's not a student of the game. Up until the time he ended up making his trip back to Toronto. At that point, it was sort of like I'm just gonna coast from here on out.
I don't know.
I think he was absolutely a student of the game going up through Europe. I think he was always picking something up and moving on and developing.
I don't know if he coasted. I just think he got older and he's playing against lesser competition, and that means you don't have to run it. So
again, when I'm like looking at him and saying he's coasting, in the sense that he's not always trying to improve, because there's always aging players in Europe that are always improving, not necessarily improving, but staying sharp at the very minimum. I mean, there's any players. He probably when did he move to Toronto? He had to have been like 26, give or take.
2016, you mean?
No, he was 26 years old.
Oh, he was 26. Oh, okay.
Around that time frame. So at that point, I mean, his this is really off topic, but his skill level had been deteriorating ever since his move to Toronto. And it's just from a lack of playing against better and better players that he would have found if he would have stuck it out with Roma. Not saying that he would have found the pitch with Roma all the time or at all. I'm just saying that when you're constantly playing against top talent and you're constantly having to fight for your spot, you're having to require to stay sharp. Even if you start losing your legs, you have to start developing other things. You have to start developing ball control, better oversight of the game. You have to do something.
No, he was always good at those things. I think it's purely down to how slow he's become. He is so slow compared to how he was with Mönchengladbach, Kievo. He's just slow as fuck. It looks like he's wearing bricks on his fucking feet, like good old Beckerman did back in the day. Well, Woolly Mammoth.
He was never fast.
No,
he covered a lot of ground, but that's about it.
But he didn't look slow on TV. He looked like less fast than some other guys. Now he just looks slow on TV.
Well, that comes down from just not staying sharp. I think, in all honesty, if he had to compete against top talent in Europe, I think he would have maintained some level of agility and speed and everything like that. Again, way off topic here.
Yeah. Word. All right. So that's it for this show. I think we've kind of summed. I don't know what else we could say. We've given you the lineups. We've talked about everything that, Berhalter could do, but he's not going to do. He's not going to change formations, folks. It's not drastically. It's going to be one or the other. And if he does, dude, I'll eat my own shit here on the show. And you won't know it's shit because it'll probably just be chocolate. But I will do something. I will apologize to him. But I don't think at this late date, without practicing it, we're going to switch to some other new formation like a 4-3-2.
Empty bucket.
Or an empty bucket. It's a 4-2-3-1. It's not happening. Although he has played it occasionally. I just don't think that's going to happen. So we're going to have to live what we're going to live with. And hopefully we come away with 3 points. We need the 5 total coming out of this. We need to be in the top 3 and stay consistently in the top 3 of this octagon. Okay. Share this with your friends. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like it. Share it with grandma. Always share it with grandma because she's my age. And if I like soccer, she might like it too. Until the next time on Straight Red Card, good night.